Welcome to today's workshop mini. This is Debbie Drum, and this week we're going to be talking about publishing with purpose or publishing with intention. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? Well, I could just compare this to when I first started online and how I go about doing things today, in the sense of how I go and publish things to sell. Okay, it used to be there was not too much thought process behind what I was doing. I would just kind of try something and put it out there and see what worked and what didn't work. And that actually works to some extent. If you think that something will sell, if you have an idea and you publish it, whether you publish it on Amazon or you publish it on like a private marketplace where you sell to a list or subscribers, or you get affiliates to promote that product, that's cool. That doesn't work 100% of the time. It works though for the most part. And honestly, just doing something, especially when you're getting started and getting familiar with the process of publishing content and just getting familiar with how to do everything in the process and the system, is good. But once you kind of go through it a couple times and you succeed sometimes and you fail sometimes, then you start to say, hey, how can I get a little bit better at this? Okay, and that's where publishing with purpose, publishing with intention comes into place. Okay, so what does that mean? Again, so before you actually do what you want to put out there, you want to ask yourself and answer and have clear answers to questions that you should really know the answers to before you continue with your creation. Why? For the most part, to save time. Because if you create something that is not going to work in the end, you don't know that yet because you're just in the beginning phase, but if you create something that won't work or won't sell or is not going to do well in the marketplace or whatever, then what have you done? You just wasted time, right? Sure, you have something to sell, you have an asset, you created that, but you want to make the most out of your time, obviously, and by answering a few questions before you actually get started is going to help you tremendously. Let's see, when it says intention to rank, engage, sell, all of that, question mark. Well, let's give some examples here. So the very first thing, like if I put out a product or I'm going to write a piece of content or even write a book, one of the questions that I ask myself and don't move forward until I answer it is, who are you trying to help? Okay, and define those people, or define even that person. You can get down to a specific person that you want to help. Okay, so define that person and be very, very clear on who it is that you want to help. Next question. Why are you creating this? Again, what's the purpose? Like, do you want to just put out another product? Do you want to specifically help someone that's struggling with XYZ? So why? What's the purpose behind all this? Because answering the why is going to come out later on in your marketing. Okay, so like, let's say, for example, if you're creating like a sales letter, your why has to be in there. I wanted to create this product because I was struggling with going live on Facebook, and I know that hundreds of other people are struggling how to go live on Facebook, and I've done it 10 times already, and I want to share with people, this is how I got over my nerves. This is how I decided what I wanted to talk about. This is how I transcribed my videos and how I repurposed my content for later on. Whatever it is, you want to say your why because it's sharing a personal experience. It's sharing a personal story with the people that you're trying to relate to. Okay, so the why is very, very important. Another question, how do you plan to get this out there? What are your plans with the content that you want to create? So how do you plan to get it out? Do you already have a list of people? Are you going to reach out to somebody else who has a list of people who might share that product with their audience? Are you going to run Facebook advertising? Have you ever run Facebook advertising before? How do you see yourself running Facebook advertising? So you're going to do it yourself, or are you going to get some help? Or are you going to learn how the process? Answer this question. Hey, Mary, how are you? Good to see you. Answer this question. Don't move forward until you have the answer to this question. Very, very important. You have to have a plan for this. Another question. Is there even an audience for what you are creating? Are you creating something? Are you looking to create something that has a very small market, or not a lot of people are buying products in this marketplace? Or are these people that might buy your product, are they hard to find? Right? So make sure that there is a market for what you are creating. And I always say this, but it's worth repeating. Even if the market is big, like the make money online niche, the health niche, the exercise niche, whatever it is, there's always room for creativity. And if you're specific about what you're offering or the problem that you're solving in a specific niche, then you can easily find the audience that you're targeting, and you can pinpoint who you want to exactly help, which goes to very back to the first question, who are you trying to help? Okay, so all this stuff relates to each other. All right, another question is, will people buy what you create? So not only is there an audience for what you're creating, but will people buy what you're creating? Okay, and sometimes to find out if people will buy what we create, sometimes we have to actually reach out to people in our niche, in our industry, and ask them, what would you like to see when it comes to this product, and what kind of help would you like to get when it comes to this topic? So, these are very, very important questions, because if you create something that nobody wants, nobody's going to buy it. So you see how I do have more questions for you, but do you see how this is starting to come into your preparation before you exhaust a lot of time and energy into something that might not sell in the long run? See, the point is, and we talked about this, I think, in the very first Facebook Live episode, whereas you can find all these lives sessions that we did. You can find them in the Facebook group. You can find them on my blog, and you can find them on YouTube. And on YouTube, it's just Live with Debbie, Passive Income with Content, if you want to go back and watch these. So what I like to do is, if I have an idea of a product, I like to actually think about how I'm going to sell that product before I even make the product, because that's how important it is to pinpoint, who you're going to help, who you're going to target, why you're putting this out, how you're going to sell the product. Like, literally write bullet points as to what the selling points are for the product that you're going to create before you ever even create it. Okay, so we're talking about kind of the reverse. When you're first starting out, you just want to get stuff out there, you want to start something, and you just do it. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. Okay, I've had both happen. Actually, the very first product that I put out worked really, really well, which was great. And I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And then I don't remember what the next product was, but I remember some products not working out. And you're like, ugh, where did I go wrong? It's this stuff. This stuff was not done properly from the beginning, and that just creates a product that just doesn't do well. Okay, let's go through some more questions. Have people told you already they are interested? Okay, this goes back to possibly asking people in your niche that could potentially be interested in this product, right? So you want to ask people, again, survey some people in your niche and say, hey, what kind of things are you looking for? What kind of help are you looking for when it comes to this topic? Look at other products, perhaps, that are selling in your industry, and see what are some of the selling points that they're using, and spin off of that, possibly. Okay, so again, and we talked about this a lot too. Don't start from scratch. Look at what's out there, and then generate some ideas about what's already working, what's already selling, and then incorporate that into your creation. Okay, so you might have to talk to people who are in your audience, even if they're not on your list, You know, you don't have to have them on your list. Just reach out to them. We live in a great age of social media where if you don't know somebody, you can say, knock on the virtual door and just try to reach out to them. All right. All right. Great. Hey, Scotty. Nice to see you here. Great. All right. Just looking through. Okay, we'll get to that, Wim. No problem. So another thing that you want to do during this process is, it's weird. Like when you know something is going to work, when you know something, you're excited about something, and you know, you have an idea of all these questions, like who you're going to help, why you're creating this, you have this passion inside you. The passion also gets, fuels the creation process as well. So the passion will allow you to, wake up early and work on this, or stay up late if you're a night owl, not like me. I'm early. If I'm excited about something, I could wake up at 4:30 in the morning and work for a few hours in the morning and really, really feel accomplished that day because I'm really excited about the project that I'm creating. And it's mostly, that all happens mostly when all these questions are answered. Okay, like who I'm going to help, why I'm doing this, is it going to sell, how do I know it's going to sell, have people bought this kind of stuff before, how is my stuff different? This is all the excitement. So what starts to happen when all these things come together is you start to visualize yourself succeeding with what you're creating. Okay, you could see how you feel when the product is done. You can see how you feel when your sales copy is written and it's nicely on the page, whether you've done it yourself or you got help doing it, you outsourced it, whatever it is. You can see people buying it. You can see the payments coming in. You can, into your PayPal account, or you can see the sales coming into your Amazon account. You can see people saying great stuff about your creation, right? That you can see people succeeding with whatever you're creating. And what this does is that it puts it out there in the universe, all these positive things about your creation, about what you're putting together out in the universe to help people and to make money with. Okay, so that's why this clarity and this intention and doing this from the very, very beginning is so important, because it puts all this positive energy behind your product out there for you to be able to, and more likely be able to succeed. Okay? So where did all this kind of come from this week? This week I will spend the last couple minutes talking about what I worked on this week. I put together a really cool presentation about the new environment on Amazon. And as you probably know, I have the software book review targeter, and getting reviews has evolved from when I first started publishing in 2011 and today. And I really wanted to put out a new training that talked about what does this new environment look like when it comes to spreading the word about your book, and more specifically in getting reviews, right, for your book. Because as you may or may not know, Amazon stopped showing email addresses. And how do you reach out to people? How do you get in front of their targeted audience for them to write you a review, and write you a good review, not only a positive review, but a review that means something to allow people to see that review and want to buy your product or your book, right? So I talked about like seven different ways that you can reach out to people in this kind of new environment, this new world of publishing. Pretty innovative ways that not a lot of people, actually nobody but me, because they all came from me, are talking about. So I'll put that link in the chat after this, so that you can check out the training I did this week. It's really, really good. And is it a little bit harder to get in front of the target market? Yes, it is, because the playing field is level, right? But we do have some advantage with Book Review Targeter in getting and still getting the social links and directly in front of targeted people who have left reviews for similar books. We can get those social links and reach out to them there on social media. And I actually share with you a template and 3 rules to follow when you're reaching out to somebody who you do not know. And this goes for reviewers as well as potential partners. So we talk about that a lot here with passive income, with content, right? Because sometimes we want to reach out to other people that might have an audience to help us, and we can partner with them and do things for each other. So if you're reaching out to somebody cold, you want to not waste that contact and say the right thing. And I go through that messaging in the new training that I put together this week. So check it out. I'll post a link right under this when we're done. And some of the other updated ways on getting reviews and talking to your customers and potential customers. And actually, that answers your question, Wim. What's the best free way to know where your audience is hanging out? Well, you can. So let's go further with this, with publishing with intention. One of the things that you do before you actually publish your content is come up with a hashtag that you use that isolates whatever it is that your product is about, right? So, and it should be unique. It should, it shouldn't just be like something general, but like maybe it's the name of your product or a catchy thing, but that's only associated with your product, right? So let's say so my hashtag for my best-selling book was read better faster. Okay, so anytime I spoke about my book, I would do the hashtag read better faster. So I can do a search on Facebook for read better faster and see if anybody else is talking about that hashtag. And you can do that on Twitter. You can do that, I believe, on pretty much every social media marketplace. So that's one way to find your audience, because you can just do searches for hashtags and you pinpoint exactly who's talking about your topic, right? And it doesn't only have to be the hashtag that you have, Wim. Let's say you want to find people that are talking about Pilates, let's just say, and you just type in Pilates into Facebook and see what's going on. That's just search around, look for groups. For the most part, everyone's hanging out on Facebook and Instagram, your best bet, and of course, YouTube as well. So those are like the 3 biggest ones, and just start there. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this this week's workshop mini. Very, very fun. Love this topic. Let's see, Georgian. Hey, Georgian asks, do you have tools / websites where you do research on what's selling and who is buying? Well, you can see what's out there in the marketplace. Like you can look on Google, just do a Google search and see if there's any products on your topic. Okay, that's a good place to start. Look at the testimonials, look at any reviews that are being left, look at the price point, right? So those are all indications of a product selling. Look at this is funny that you asked this question, because I was doing some research this morning on a product and that I was interested in buying, and one of the products that might have fit the category of what I wanted to purchase, I saw that the website was like, or the copy said, oh, it's updated for November 2015, and the copy just looked old, and obviously it was out of date, right? So you can tell when a product looks old, right? And when a product looks new. Like remember those long form, very wordy copy of sales letters? Sometimes they're used today, but that's not really what a modern sales letter looks like anymore. So when you see like those long, wordy HTML type sales letters, you know that stuff is old. So you kind of watch out and not buy that stuff so much. The product was also $10. It was a piece of junk. But nonetheless, that you want to keep your eye on, like, does this product look modern? Does it look like it is attracting buyers? Is it saying in their copy, we've sold this to 1,000 customers, things like that. And that's how you know that things are selling. Look if also on YouTube, look if there are any reviews about that product. because then you'll also know that if people are reviewing that product, then there's probably a market and that it's probably selling. Okay, so that there are always indications as to what to look for if a product is selling. Okay, and it's a little bit easier with information as well. You can also look on Amazon. You can see if any books are written about that topic. Look at the sales rank again. Look at the number of reviews. Have a lot of people left reviews on that? Or now, don't get too caught up with the reviews, because sometimes people write really good content and they do a crappy job marketing it, unfortunately. And that happens too. So it could be a really good book, it's just being marketed really, really poorly, and that's why it hasn't gotten out there. But you can also get ideas from hidden gems like that, where you can probably do a better job at marketing and getting in front of the target audience than that person did. Okay, so search around, get a lot of thumbs up, I would say, about your product idea before you actually execute it. Okay, hopefully that helps.